I have a channel artist in today. Her name is Ivy Supersonic, and just like her name says, she is supersonic. Unbelievable artist, one of the most amazing people that I have ever met in my whole life.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That is some introduction.
Yes, and really, you know, I'm a business major and I work with a lot of artists here in the city, and it's over decades. And really, when I saw your material, information, everything that you're doing, I was like, wow, bring her in.
Oh.
So I want to thank my director, Z, for inviting you in for today. That's really great. I've really enjoyed, you know, our conversations before the show.
Me too.
We're here live all around the world.
Wow.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not nervous.
But I understand that you were an M&N producer early on.
You know,
you were here
20 years ago, 1997.
20? Really?
I had my own cable access show. It was a little different then because it was 20 years ago. And it was called I.B. Ivy and the Groovy Gals.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, I had the show. It was running for a year on MNN, and so I'm gonna call it a cheat. I'm gonna call it a cheat. So what I did was I had to have a pre-recorded segment, and going to edit, it was so long and involved that we got one show. And I ran the same show for an entire year. So it was a cheat. I cheated. I used the messenger service, and I would pick up the tape, and then I would give them the tape that was supposed to run, and it was actually the same tape. So I just made like 20 of the same tapes, and then I just kept rotating the same tape. And I mean, it was pretty expensive and difficult to do the show. So at least I got out there, and
very good.
It was cool.
That editing is very time involved. I've learned it, and it's, you know, the software always upgrading, and it's really, God bless all the people that do it professionally. You know.
You know, I had a tagline back in 1997 with this TV show, and it was down for whatever, whenever. And it was on Channel 69. So see how that worked out? But what was so interesting was that, because I know we're going to talk about the scrap, but I just want to go there from 1997, that the first, I got this email and it said the scrap is down for whatever throughout the weather. And I just felt like it was really, someone was like monitoring all my websites and the things I was doing, that everything was, you know, the same. So close and all the same. So just so when we get to the scrap.
I saw the scrap at the Thanksgiving parade yesterday, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. We have some other things that we want to talk about too. One is being, you know, a milliner. You have this amazing hat, and I've worked with other milliners who do couture, and they work sometimes with feathers, and I know it's difficult to work with. Your theme is feathers.
Only, feathers only.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, I set out to be the best feathered hat designer in the entire world. Wow. That was my goal. So, see, and I really wanted to just only design for rock stars. I really wanted to be like just the greatest designer, feathered hat designer for rock stars that there ever was. So, there really isn't anybody else competing with me. So I just became, I became what I, you know, manifested, what I set out to become. I did it. I did it.
And just even what you have here is incredible. And I even asked about them because you know what? I'm studying the guitar. I'm learning to play the guitar and bass, and I'm a big hat person. So I'm going to be looking you up.
So when you need hats, you call me.
You bet. You bet. And you're famous all over the world for that pink hat, pink feathered hat for Pamela Anderson, and. I just can't wait for us to roll in some of the photos. But you did a great job on coming up with an idea, wanting to be a rock star, you know, hat maker for the rock stars, and you really did it. And can I ask how you got involved with it? Because those artists are really hard to hang around. I mean, you have to, somebody has to know you and they feel comfortable with you, or?
Well, I started with these feathered hat shows. So there were naked feathered hat shows where I had teams of artists come and body paint naked models, and they came out as living works of art. And I didn't want to I was not designing clothing, I was only designing feathered hats. So I didn't want to take away from the hat design by putting clothing on. So I had everybody naked but body painted and wearing the feathered hats. And then I would bring in everybody. So everybody had to come backstage and participate. So I would say to the models, listen, you know, I'm going to go over there right now, and if you want to wear something on your body, well, here's like, I would put down paper bags, newspaper, like household products, just different things, boxes of cereal, whatever it was, and I would say, like, figure it out. So I wanted people to have fun. I wanted them to really have a good time, and I always had a good time no matter what I did, no matter where I was. And I just felt like, like I'm creative, be creative. Here's the stuff. Put it on your body. Figure it out.
That's really great that you want to inspire other people, because some people are very, very controlling. That you can't do that. You have to prove it through me. So, but I think when you have a relaxed, attitude, that you foster that great energy, and that gets around, and you work with some of the best stars in the whole world.
Well, the stars never won my Fruit Loop boxes or my Bloomingdale's bags.
The models.
But it was drawing, a lot of attention, a lot of media. And I would bring in, I started out, I did a show, I guess it was 1998. It was on the Hudson River. It was the West Side Highway, and there was a restaurant there called 26 Hudson. And all of a sudden, there's like a whole bevy of naked models standing on the Hudson River. So CNN, Jeannie Most came, and George Whipple, and New York One, and then the segment ran like ABC, NBC, Fox 9/11. Everybody picked this up. The show was sensational. So I found Albie Shore. I don't know where I found him, but he came and body painted with me, and that was really the first big show I did. And it was there was such a media frenzy about me getting all these models naked on the highway, and people were tap dancing down the runway wearing snakes. It was just wild. My parents came. It was great. And then I went to LA with the tapes, and I met who became my boyfriend, Jesse Baird. And Jesse took me around LA, and we were on a mission to find just to do this. And I wound up doing a show at the Barfly in LA. It was on Sunset, and I called it Dead Birds Walking, because it was the feather hats, and it was a Halloween event. And I had all of a sudden I had Malcolm Jamal Warner, Judd Nelson, Mickey Dolenz, Mickey Rourke came. I remember Rob Lowe couldn't get in. So Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers. So all of a sudden I had all these, Nick Loeb, all these people modeling and body painting, and this whole big fashion extravaganza. And then it was okay, it clicked. So I met all these different rock stars. We were body painting. Everybody's wearing the hats. Judd Nelson was a great model, and it was off the chart. It was off the chart.
Now, is this in the 90s, later 90s?
This was in 1998. And even, because I have the lawsuit with Fox, so even, I had one of the girls that were modeling, she happened to have been dating Rupert Murdoch's partner, Shuki Levy. So she was one of my models. This was in 1998, before I even, before the Scrat even began. But 1998, the Ice Age movie was signed to Fox Family Films, which this girl, she was dating Shuki Levy, and he owned, he owned that company. So that was in 1998. And even the guy who made the posters, Jim Agate for Fox, he was
incredible.
there too.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So it's been going. Now when you follow somebody, you follow them on Twitter, you follow them on Facebook. You don't know who's following you, but thousands, millions of people are watching and following. Back then, so in order to get followed, I'd have to be, in the eye of the media. You know what I mean? I'd have to. I was a monster publicist. I was like P.T. Barnum. I was that publicist. So I was flying campaigns in the air, and trucks and buses and all kinds of shenanigans. So it's been
good for you.
It's been crazy.
Well, I'd like our audience to see some of the photos that we've been talking about.
Okay.
So if the control room can roll in some of the items. So here's the hats that, one of the hats that you're actually wearing.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness. I know it's a lot of work. I've been in hat shops in the back room when they're sewing and creating. It's a lot of work.
Oh, so this is the hat I'm wearing. This was Sophie. Tommy Lee was engaged to her. She was the singer and the dancer in Motley Crue. She was, I think Tommy met her. I think she was dancing on stage with Britney Spears. Yeah, so her and Tommy were modeling this hat that I'm wearing.
Good for you.
Oh,
Little Kim?
Oh my God, this is a story. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes, I love it.
Okay, so I met Little Kim. It was August of 1999. Okay, so, and I just created the Scrat in May 1999. So August of 1999, Little Kim was in Tommy Lee's Get Naked video. She was riding a chicken. And So she was at the video. It was me, Tommy Lee, Pam Anderson, Little Kim, Carmen Electra, Fred Durst, Mixmaster Mike. So it was this video. Anyway, so Pam wore the hat, right? My hat I designed for her hosting the MTV Awards, and that was September 9th, 1999. It's a lot of nines. That must be my date. And so now Little Kim was doing a shoot for the cover of Out magazine. It was, I guess it was August, or it was September, and she shot in the cover for Out. So I don't know if that meant that she was gay, but she was on the cover of Out magazine if she was coming out. So she's on the cover of Out in my hat. And I brought my own photographer with me to the shoot who photographed her as well and gave it to New York Magazine, and then we got outed from Out. We got outed from Out, but...
Oh my goodness.
But yeah. Oh, this was Monica Lewinsky. Yeah,
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's
Pam.
that pink hat that we were talking about. I mean, I think every mouth dropped in the world. I mean, where did that idea come from?
You know,
It's so befitting of her and her personality.
she asked me if I could make her a pink cowboy hat. So she said a pink feathered cowboy hat. Now, when I met Tommy Lee, I was with my boyfriend Jesse Baird, who also went under the name Diggs Dynamite. And Jesse, we were at the Playboy Mansion, and Tommy Lee just got out of jail that day. Okay, so we met Tommy, and he was wearing this cowboy hat I designed for him, and he was a drummer, and he met Tommy, and Tommy liked the hat, so he gave it to him. So that was how I met Tommy. So that was in 1998. That was before I did the show at the Barfly, and so now I'm at the video shoot, Get Naked, with Tommy and Pam, and you know he's filming his video, and all of a sudden it's Fred Durst, that's naked models on the runway, and now they're wearing my hat. So Pam wanted this pink feathered cowboy hat, and I just said, you know, of course, but I just did it with my flair, and I just felt like this hat was something that she would love. Now, I didn't know if it was, it wasn't, but I brought it to the hotel, and I met Tommy, and his lawyer was Kenny Mysalis, and I went over to the hotel and I gave it to Tommy, and someone brought it to Pam's room. Now, I didn't know if Pam was really going to wear the hat or not. Maybe she wouldn't like it. I don't know. So they brought it to Pam's room, and I left it with Tommy, and then in the morning, they were like, do you want to come with us, like, to the MTV Awards? So Tim Dog wanted me to go. Like, it was the guy, you know, in his rap. So I was going to go with Tim Dog, Pam, and Tommy to the MTV Awards. Now, it's a little weird that I had to make a decision whether to go or not. Now, I think anybody else would have went. I mean, but I felt like I'm not going to go if I'm not going to wear a hat. Like, I just felt like, and I didn't want to take away, like, the spotlight or the limelight from her, so I couldn't wear a hat and have her wear a hat. That would be weird. Then I felt like she wouldn't wear it.
Now, did you know that she was going to wear the hat at this time?
I did not know.
Okay.
But I had this feeling that, and it started to rain. It was drizzling. The hats can't get wet. Okay, they're just not doing well in the wet, you know? So I just felt like I shouldn't go with them. Of course I should go with them. What's wrong with me? But I just felt like not going, that I didn't want to kill the opportunity for her to wear the hat, because I'm not going to show up without the hat. So now that she's there, she was getting photographed by like 300 or 400 people, and if I was there with her, they all would have known it was my hat. So then it took a little bit of work to get it out there. You know, she went on like Howard Stern with the hat that day, and then the next day she went on Regis and Kelly and said, my friend Ivy made me that hat. And then, yeah, so there's Kelly. That was a few years later, though. That was in 2003. Kelly and Regis were Pam Anderson and Kid Rock for Halloween, which is so crazy because they really look like Pam Anderson and Kid Rock.
They do. That's it.
And the producer of, you know, Regis and Kelly called me and said, can we borrow one of your hats?
Oh, really?
So this was the same hat that you just saw Little Kim wearing.
Oh, my. Oh, wow. That's really something. How did you know what size for them?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm not really like, yeah, especially because I'm so not like with the detail. I was like, listen, if it doesn't
I work with
fit,
hat makers, so I know these things are issues.
Listen, if it doesn't fit, just think, here's some extra paper, just shove the paper in it. Like, wear a bandana under it. Here's actually another hat. Just wear a hat, wear a bandana. You know what I mean? So
that was great.
Yeah, that's how it's not like for every person. You can't wear it everywhere. It's really meant for stage. It's meant for magazine shoots. It's meant when you're in the limelight. You know, it has a certain energy, and you have to be a certain type of person with a certain.
She was perfect for it.
Right,
Oh,
you got to be able to carry this off. You know, I won't make it for just a person.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It's not what I do.
Well, congratulations. So then after the hat making, now you've evolved into an artist.
Yeah.
As a painter.
Yeah, which is really the thing that I would never want to do.
Isn't that something? Do we have some of the photos for her as a painter? And I'll take a look at this.
Yeah, so I started these paintings December 19th of last year. And, okay, so what's really interesting about these paintings is that, you know, you look at them and they look like a painting, you know, that's a full painting. So that picture right there is an entire painting. That's what the painting looks like. So, you know, I'm not painting for an extremely long time. I have nothing in my mind that I'm trying to paint. It's just abstract. Okay, so, and the paintings look better actually when you turn them upside down.
Oh, is that something?
Yeah, so all of a sudden in these paintings, the producer of this show actually, I'm gonna say discovered me. She said, Ivy, you know there's like faces in these paintings. I see them by the hundreds. And not only I see them, I showed them to my mother, and my mother sees them. Wow. So I said, okay, when someone's mother sees something, let me investigate this a little more. Now, what was interesting was that
you didn't realize it yourself?
You know, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Wow.
So what's interesting is that her brother's name was Dante, who passed away, and his mother's son was Dante, who passed away. Now, the synchronicity of it is that I've been told by a few people. My friend Linda Mesh said I see Dante's Inferno.
Oh, good heavens.
So, yeah, so the two people who discovered it, Dante's sister and Dante's mother, discovered this, and I was told there's Dante's Inferno. So there's, you know, there's past, present, future in these paintings. Some people may call them psychic paintings, other people call them spirit art. So I'm just going to, I'm going to say that what I'm calling myself is the channel artist. So I'm channeling, you know, all different dimensions and worlds, and it's
almost like you have Reiki powers.
Yeah. Oh.
How it's coming through and out onto your work, and you're not even conscious of it. I'm
not conscious of it, and I can see these paintings painting themselves. So what I've been doing is I started documenting it. And you can watch the footage at thechannelartist.com, and I have 13 minutes of it so far. But you know, it'll get a little longer as we go. But you can watch 13 minutes. I filmed with my friend Jesse Camp. He was VJ at MTV, you know, back in the 90s. And anyway, so right, I didn't realize. This is really difficult because the paintings are painting themselves. And I started documenting not to make a documentary. I was documenting it to show you what was happening, that you wouldn't tell me I'm crazy, that all these things are jumping into the paintings or the paintings are painting themselves. So my documentation is documentation, not a documentary. That's the difference. But it's forming into a documentary. So I've never seen anybody else that has paintings that literally paint themselves. Have you?
No, and I know an artist that lives in Soho. I actually got to go to her studio, and she does quite large canvas paintings. And she's actually physically in it, you know, throwing paint and moving around, and it's really involved, and she just gets in that zone. Right, you know, so I have that as, not that I saw her actually painting, but she was describing her efforts in making a painting, that she's just there and she's going through. It's a whole body effort. It's a body, mind. It's almost a spiritual A spiritual experience, whatever.
So the painting that you showed, it was one of my first paintings, and I said, when I painted it, I said, well, actually, I think I have a talent for this. It's real. This is really phenomenal because
You don't have any training with it?
No, I'm an art appreciator. I appreciate art, and I said, wow, I can really appreciate this painting, and it's lovely.
It is.
And,
I've studied art history.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay, so I
Impressionism.
haven't.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh.
And the colors are great and soft. And I mean, I see a lot in it when
See a lot.
Yeah.
So I started to photograph it because, these phones, the Galaxy phones, where you can blow things up, that's like a new concept. So when she said she started to see the faces, I started to blow these.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Blow all these things up, and I was looking to see what they are. And as I would look at them, they'd keep developing as I would stare at them.
Oh, good heavens.
So I started to actually paint with, I don't know if it's painting with my eyes or painting with my mind, but all of these paintings, I just look at them and they just manifest. So I was trying to figure out what is this, because I am from Earth and I've never heard of this. I didn't know this was possible. So I started to meet and find different psychics and people that were guiding me towards Lilydale. And Lilydale is where people from the 1800s were painting, and they called it spirit art, and what did they call it? They did it too. They looked at the canvas, they put the paints on the floor, and all of a sudden, a whole big painting just appeared. They did nothing. So I'm doing that. So I'm just like, I am using some paint, but I'm really just looking at it, and it's like magic.
Isn't that something? Do we have any other photos of her artwork that we haven't shown?
Oh, so
it looks like it's gone through.
Yeah, I think she only has a few. But you can look at my artwork at iviesparanormal.com.
Very good. And then we also had Scrat up there. That's another one of your creations.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. You're a cartoonist?
Well, I don't want to say I'm a cartoonist because I don't really draw. But I do have a lot of cartoons that I've created, and I've hired people, work for hire, to draw, what my cartoons for me. Like you could go to, I created a cartoon also called The Crat, C-R-A-T. You could go to crat.tv, The Crat and the Scroon. So it was, originally it was The Crat, the Scrat, and the Scroon. And Fox fought me on all 3 cartoons at the trademark office and tried to just bankrupt me, fighting me on all 3 cartoons. So basically, they lost all 3 cartoons. They lost The Crat, the Scrat, and the Scroon. I own all 3 trademarks. Fox doesn't have a trademark for their Scrat, S-C-R-A-T. The cartoon that was in the Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday, the Scrat, S-C-R-A-T, they don't have a trademark. They don't even have an intent use trademark for it, because I created it in May of 1999. I created the Scrat.
It looks like the exact same thing.
It does.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
So they're big, and they got big bucks, and they got a lot of people that work for them, and I pitched them all, and I dated the guy, and my friend dated the guy, and then they just stole it, and whatever, they thought they could get away with it, and then they didn't realize I was able to get the trademark. It took me 10 years. 10 years from 2002. I got the trademark finally in 2012.
Wow.
So what's great is that in 2009, the writer of the Ice Age movie, his name is Michael J. Wilson. Michael J. Wilson came out to the world, and he wrote a story, and he gave it to a magazine online to print. And he said that he created the Scrat, which there was no Scrat in the Ice Age script.
Wow.
Okay, and there was no Scrat. John Leguizamo and everybody, they all said there was no Scrat ever when they filmed. There was no Scrat ever. It just made its way into the ad campaign, into the Ice Age campaign, which the trailer, they were making the trailer, I'm going to say September, October, November of 2001, when my friend called me, who she made trailers for Fox. She had she was part of them. And she called and told me that, they stole it. And so anyway, my lawyer sent a cease and desist letter to Fox in 2002. I think it was February 2002. The movie came out in March, and they were spelling it Scrat, S-Q-R-A-T. So what they did was they just changed the spelling to C, which the SCRAT, you know, if in Webster's dictionary means hermaphrodite, is that a good name for a cartoon? And being that it's part squirrel for SQ for the squirrel and RAT for the rat, it's conjunction. It's like the cat is the cat rat and the scroon is the squirrel raccoon. Just SCRAT has, SCRAT has no part of that. So the SCRAT, SCRAT meaning hermaphrodite, this Michael J. Wilson, who wrote the Ice Age script, he was a CAA agent and a William Morris agent. This is a real embarrassment. He went on record in 2009, he's on the internet, please go to scrat.com and look. He put into the world that his 3-year-old daughter was the creator of the squirrel rat Scrat. She said, Daddy, Scrat, squirrel rat, Daddy. Wow. So Michael J. Wilson wrote his daughter into this script at 3 years old because she can't testify. Now I have a federal registered trademark from the USPTO. It's a word mark for Scrat. Now Fox doesn't have an intent to use, and they don't even have a trademark. They've made over $6 billion. Scrat, SCRAT, has become the biggest grossing cartoon character of the history of the world internationally.
I mean, I was at the parade yesterday, and everyone went wild when it came down the street, the parade route. And I thought of you, and then fortunately, as an artist, when you have great ideas, people want to steal it. I remember being at a woman's conference, and someone who made a lot of money with these ponytail holders, and she said, I've already spent $900,000 on legal fees of people copywriting my product. And how is an artist, an independent artist, going to fight up against these big corporations? But I really hope you do well with the lawsuit that it's ongoing, and I'm really sorry that you have to go through it. We're actually down to the last minute and a half on the show.
Oh.
Can't imagine. We could talk for hours.
Oh, that's it. Oh, well,
just everything.
Oh, so they should look at the, you should really look at the scrat.com. You could look at scrat.tv, scrat.nyc, scrat.us. You could go to sqrat.net. sqrat.com.
That's incredible.
ivysupersonic.tv, ivysupersonic.nyc.
You're totally supersonic.
Yeah.
It's so
Thank you.
Fun to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
my
coming
God.
through.
Oh.
And what is it that the bag that you have? Can you tell us real quick
this is
about
me
it?
and Elvis Presley. I just went to Memphis. My stepmother Vivian, she was in love with Elvis, and I felt like as a tribute to Vivian, I should go see. And I went to Elvis's house. And you could find it somewhere, but in his house, in Vernon's office, I photographed the spirit of Elvis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Good for
interesting.
you.
Yeah.
Well, everyone.
I love him.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone, I just want to thank you very much for joining in this afternoon's show. What a wonderful day that we have here with Ivy Supersonic in the house. We really enjoyed having her here, and hopefully she'll come back and we can learn more about her. All right, happy Thanksgiving weekend. We will see you soon. Thank you so much, everyone.